What are the major positional battles for the Chicago Bears as we head into this upcoming season? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking, of course, NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, please do hit the big subscribe button down below. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And guys, as always, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so we have a lot of positions up for grabs. And I want to talk about these battles that are going to take place. Already taking place in OTAs, I'm sure. It's going to take place during training camp, upcoming. That is going to be upcoming, obviously. So let's talk about them. I got 5 for you guys. So we'll start with the first one here. And the first one I got to talk about is the running back spot. All right, so the running back spot really got dicey after the NFL draft because we took Roschon Johnson, who is an absolute stud and I believe is going to give everybody in the running back room a run for their money. All right, pun intended. So we thought the guy that was kind of penciled in as a starter was going to be Khalil Herbert, and that very well still could be the case. I expect Herbert to be the starter right after we lost David Montgomery in free agency to the Detroit Lions. Have fun, Monty, over there. So Herbert, you thought was going to be the guy, and then like I said, we brought in Roschon Johnson in the NFL draft, but also free agency. You got Dante Foreman and you got in Travis Homer. Now, Homer, to me, he is not a starting level running back. He is a backup. He's a third down back, more special teams guy. So let's just take Homer out of the mix. So it's really 3 guys that we're talking about here, which is Khalil Herbert, Dante Foreman, and Roschon Johnson. So between these 3 guys, who is going to be the starter? I fully believe that Roschon Johnson will take over the starting role at some point in the season. Whether that's week 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever the case may be, I believe it is inevitable. He is that talented. But because he is a rookie, they will bring him along a little bit slower, right? He'll bring him along slowly. And so I expect Herbert to be the starter. And then I expect Foreman actually to be the backup. And then I expect Roschon Johnson to be the 3rd string running back just to start the year. Just because, again, with him being a rookie, they'll bring him along very slowly. And then Johnson's just going to, keep showing that he needs more reps. He's just going to keep working. And as they integrate him in the offense, as he gets more comfortable at the NFL level, I think he's just going to run away with the job. So that's what I think happens here. There's definitely a scenario where Herbert stays the starter the entire year, but I think Khalil Herbert starts out as your starting running back, and then Foreman's kind of your power back on 3rd down and short, right? And then Roschon Johnson, kind of your do-it-all pass catching back, if you will. So it's interesting. They could use Foreman again on 3rd and shorts. They could use Roschon Johnson for those pass catching situations potentially. And Herbert, is kind of the de facto starter, the early down grinder, or they could use Foreman as that grinder too. So it's really interesting what's going to happen here and how they use these running backs. But I'm going to go ahead and say Herbert starts the year, then it's Foreman, then it's Johnson, and then Johnson will catapult both of them. And I think Herbert and Foreman kind of split up that backfield in terms of the second, in terms of the backup carries. So it'll essentially be the case at the back end of the year. So that's really the running back spot. All right, so let's move on to the next positional group here, the center spot. The center spot is the biggest question alongside the offensive line because you have 2 guys in Cody Whitehair and Lucas Patrick who could both probably start. Lucas Patrick was brought in to be the starter, couldn't stay healthy, had some issues there, obviously, and played other positions, but he is best when he is at the center spot. And you got Cody Whitehair, who hadn't played the center spot in a while, but now that is what the plan is for this regime, is to put him back at that spot. Ultimately, I think Whitehair starts at the center spot, and then Patrick is the backup. And if anything changes where Whitehair struggles or he's having any issues, they're going to obviously go ahead and insert Lucas Patrick as a starter and make Cody the backup. So it's really going to be a flip-flop, whoever's the hot hand, if you will, if there is such thing at the center spot. But I think it will be Cody to start the year and Patrick behind them. And I wouldn't be shocked if Cody struggles and Lucas Patrick is obviously the starting center. So that's really what I see here, because I think the other positions kind of locked in. Essentially, you got, obviously on the right side, your rookie rookie offensive lineman in Darnell Wright. I'm still thinking about Roshan Johnson. You got Darnell Wright, and then you got Nate Davis, who you brought in free agency. At the right guard spot, left guard spot, you'll have Tevin Jenkins trying out that new position. And the left tackle, obviously, Braxton Jones. So really, the center spot is the one up for grabs. So I think it's going to be Whitehair to start, and then Lucas Patrick to back him up. All right, let's move on to the third positional battle, which I believe is going to be in the secondary, and it is the cornerback spot. So one of the cornerback spots is already locked in with Jalen Johnson, all right? I think that is pretty much set in stone. Then you've got the nickel spot, which I believe will be played by Kyler Gordon, who's going in his second year. Now, he's had some struggles here, but I think that is his best kind of position to fill. So you've got the other outside cornerback spot that is essentially open or up for grabs. And I believe in training camp, the guy that will be challenging for that is going to be Bears rookie cornerback Tyrique Stevenson. And I think Tyrique Stevenson has a chance to really win this job. In fact, I think he does win this job, and I think he ends up being our starting cornerback day one, week one, opposite of Jalen Johnson. But there's a world where Kindle Vildor obviously can win this job as well, and maybe even a dark horse in Terrell Smith, the other rookie cornerback that we drafted. But ultimately, I do think it will be Tyrique Stevenson. I think he's got good size. I think he's got the ability, the skill set needed. And I think the Bears obviously believe in him. That's why they took him. And so I think there is a good chance that he is that guy that starts opposite of Jalen Johnson. So to me, that second cornerback spot opposite Jalen is up for grabs. My guy, Tyrique Stevenson, is who I would think takes up that mantle. All right, let's move on to the fourth positional battle, and it's the D-tackle spot. Now, you might be thinking, Faiz, I think we've got a lot of people at D-tackle. What are you talking about? Well, I'm saying Justin Jones is one of the kind of projected starters if you look at the depth chart here, right, alongside Andrew Billings. Well, I think Andrew Billings is locked in as one of our starting interior defensive linemen. He is a mammoth of a man. Like, he is massive. I think he's going to be a great nose tackle, going to be a run stuffer for us. But the other D-tackle spot, Justin Jones, I think this one could be won in training camp by one of the rookie defensive linemen, right? We took Javon Dexter pretty high. Then we've got Zach Pickens. My pick, I believe, is that essentially it will be Justin Jones to start the year, just getting that kind of veteran leadership in there and that experience. And then I think Pickens is probably my pick to kind of overtake him for the starting job. It could be Dexter. I think Dexter's a little bit more raw, so that's why I'm going with Pickens, even though he was a later pick. But it could be either one of these two guys here. Ultimately, I don't see Justin Jones starting the entire year at the D-tackle spot. In training camp, it certainly could happen where one of these rookies beats him out and they start straight up week one, Pickens or Dexter. My money's on Pickens. So that is the fourth positional battle. And finally, the fifth one, defensive end spot, right? This one is a big question mark, our biggest weakness. And right now you've got Travis Gibson on one side, and then the other side, kind of the penciled in starter, is DeMarcus Walker, who we got over in free agency. Well, is that a lock that DeMarcus Walker starts? I don't think so. Like, yeah, probably a good chance, but what if Dominique Robinson, who showed some flashes last year, kind of showcases to the coaching staff that he's ready, and they decide to start him? Or more likely, I believe there's somebody that we sign by the time training camp rolls around, let's say, and he is probably going to start. Again, we've talked about it a bunch. Yannick Ngakoue still out there, maybe Frank Clark, who knows? So, just throwing names out here for you guys, but I don't know if our starting one of our starting defensive ends is on the roster right now. He could still be signed. So that is something to, watch for. I do believe it will not be DeMarcus Walker. I think we'll sign somebody that starts opposite of Travis Gibson. So that is the 5 positional battles here, people. So again, just to repeat for you guys, running back, the center spot, cornerback spot, D-tackle, defensive end. Those are the 5 positional battles that I believe I'll be watching in training camp to see who wins these. Let me know if I missed any. If you guys agree or disagree, are there any other ones that you guys saw? Leave a comment down below.